Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome. My name is Nico, and we're going to be looking at some charts today. So, guys, I'm a bit late today. I'll show you guys why in a minute. But there has been a problem with Pocket Options chart feeds. They were down for most of the morning, so there was no trading. It came back up a while ago, and I just had to wait for the charts to normalize because there's no historical data at the moment. I'm sure it will get restored later, but I had to wait for my indicators to become to work in all the candles so they can start functioning normally. Okay, so guys, we're going to be trading. I do want to touch on something else today. I know a lot of people. I get asked a lot, what do I think of martingale trading? And first off, I'm not a big fan of it. I don't do it. As you guys following my videos would see that I never do martingale trades. I keep my trade size constant for the most part. So, but there are people that do use martingale. Some people will insist on using it. So I'm going to show you guys today the correct way and the most efficient way to use martingale, and also how to calculate your risk of your balance of your capital if you do want to do martingale. This is the best way that I've come up with, that I've been able to come up with. But if anybody thinks they got a better way, or if somebody wants to, drop a comment, share it with me. I would love to see that. But as of now, or up until now, this is what I'm going to show you now is the best way that I've seen and I've been able to come up with. Okay, so we're going to head to a spreadsheet first. Just want to explain to you guys quick. So suppose you have $100 in your account. We're going to take a percentage of that that we're going to use as risk, that we're going to risk with trades. In this case, I've got here is 10%. I would recommend, especially if you have a balance that's larger than $100, if you have 500 or 1,000 or whatever, use a lower amount, like 5% maybe or something. We'll have a look at that as well in a second. So, but if we're doing 10%, your martingale balance, or starting balance, as I call it, but this will be 10% of your counting. That's, in this case, it's $10. And then our first martingale size, we're going to use a multiplier of 2.5. So our first martingale size is going to be 10% of that, right? So in this case, it's $1. And every time we do a martingale trade, we're going to multiply by 2.5. So our first trade will be $1. If we lose it, it's going to be $2.50. If we lose that, it's going to be $6.50. So you guys will see that using it this way, if I lose 3 trades in a row, I am losing just a little bit less than the amount that I was willing to risk at the starting of this, right? So it's 975 if I do it with this, that I'm going to lose if I get 3 trades in a row wrong, which is just under $10 or just under 10% of my account, which is why I say if you have a larger account, use a smaller percentage. Suppose you have $500 in your account and you can risk do $5%, so it's 25. Your first trade then would be 2.5, then 6, and then 15. Okay, so if we get the 5 wrong, we're only going to lose that amount of money. So if you do this, if you calculate this, I would suggest you don't change during the day. Stick to, in this case, we'll do $2.50 trades, and we'll stick to that. We'll just keep doing $2.50 trades. You can calculate a new percentage tomorrow. It's just easier to keep track of during the day. A lot of times it's happened to me in the past as well. When I was a few years back, when I was using martingale a lot, I would put in the wrong amount because we are constantly changing our trade sizes. So it's I would often put in the wrong amount, skip a decimal point or something, and it's not fun if you lose a trade like that. And you instead of you have, let's say you have $500 in your account, but instead of 250, you 2.5, you put in 250, you miss the decimal and you lose your first trade. So stuff like that happens. So get used to it. Stay on one size and just get used to it for the day. I'm also going to use this as an example now when we're trading, and we're going to look at how we can mitigate our losses. But this is, if you insist on Martingale, this is one of the best ways I've seen. Really, it's fine. I haven't seen a better way. The thing about Martingale is where a lot of people, the mistake a lot of people make, or most people that I've seen that use Martingale, is doubling down on a losing trade. The correct way to use Martingale is to have your strategy, and if your strategy gives you an entry, you take the entry. If that trade loses, you wait for the next entry from your strategy. You don't double down on a losing trade. That's not a very smart thing to do. I've seen a lot of times where you're looking at maybe Euro USD on the 1 minute, and you get 10, 15 green candles in a row, or 10, 15 red candles in a row. And there's people that go into that run, and about halfway they think, oh, it's dropped so far, it must turn back. There's no such thing as it must turn back now. And I've seen people Martingale there, empty their accounts in 4 or 5 minutes because they just keep Martingale it because they think it's going to come back. That's not a very smart way of doing it. We're going to take our entries from our strategy. If the trade loses, we'll Martingale the next entry from our strategy, but we do not double down on a losing trade, ever. Okay, so using 2.5, the reason I do 2.5 is that we get a little bit more back with each trade. So we're not just going to stick, suppose this is I'm calculated on a 92% payout. So if I get my first trade right, I'm going to win $2.30. If I get my second trade right, I'm going to win $3.25. Remember, it's 92% of the 6.5, but I've already lost that $2.50, so that needs to be subtracted from this amount here. And the same reason for this. If I do win this trade, this is going to be my actual profit from the total Martingale trade, because I have to subtract those two amounts from my winnings, because that's been lost. Okay, so if I do a third Martingale and that wins, my account will actually grow by that amount, and not by whatever the payout of this account is. It will only grow, but this is the amount it will only grow by. And the reason I don't like Martingale is clear in this area here. If I get the third one wrong, I've risked $24, $24.38 for a profit of $5.63. So if you calculate that back, that's like almost just over a 20% payout. And nobody here would trade a 20% payout, an asset with 20% payout, because the risk is too big, right? But people will Martingale and think nothing of it. But by the time you get to your third trade, if you're doing it like this way, this is like I said, it's just over it's just over 20%. Maybe closer to 30 than 20, but somewhere like 27, 28 maybe. But that's the same as taking a trade on a binary trade on an asset that's got a 20 or 30% payout. Nobody I know will even touch a 50% payout asset, but people don't have a problem Martingale it because they don't understand the math behind it. They find, they see the big win and I got my money back, and but you're risking a lot of money for little reward. Whereas if you're just trading one consistent size, it's much easier to recover your money, because if your third Martingale step does go wrong, and it will, you have to do 10 trades, 12 trades basically, win 12 first trades to just get back to recover your losses. So this is the reason I do not like Martingale that much, because it works it'll work, but there are days it's going to screw you over, and I really hate those days, so I just avoid them completely. I do not trade Martingale. I'll maybe use it when I'm trading in a tournament, but that's it. Okay, but that being said, we're going to use this. We're going to do 2.5 on trade sizes today. We're going to have a look and see how it goes. So let's head over to the charts and see what the day is like. So currently I'm on Euro JPY. As you guys will see, Euro USD is not open yet. It's not available. And let me show you the reason why I'm late is because their charts only started working 12 minutes past 10, and I was waiting for everything to just normalize so I can know that my indicators are taking the movement into account. So that's the reason we're late today. I'm sure the historical data will be back later, but the 1 minute, I'll definitely not be looking at 1 minute charts for now because the moving averages hasn't even leveled out. So I'm not sure what's going on here, but this is definitely, it's very uncommon. I haven't seen this happen yet. So this is a technical thing somewhere, but it's not a problem. We're gonna just trade the 10 seconds. We're gonna be on Euro JPY, and then we're still going to use the 3 core strategies that we use. We're going to use the, we're going to look for divergence. We're going to look for the ADX spikes, the DI spikes on the ADX, and we're going to look for RSI rejections when price is trending, and when it makes a correction in the trend, we're going to look for RSI rejections, and we're going to see if we can trade those. Okay, so my first trade size is going to be 2.5. And we're going to use, like I said, the 2.5 multiplier. So this calculator is actually a very nice thing, and a lot of platforms has it. This is your multiplier. So whatever your amount is, you can just, if you have a multiplier in here to keep it constant, you can just hit the times button and it will adjust your trade size, or you can use the divide button and it will bring it back. So this is, these calculators are really nice if you get used to them. But we're going to be on 2.5. Our first trade is going to be 2.5, and then, like I said, multiplier of 250. Let's open this up a bit so we can get a better view. Okay, so now we're just going to wait for trades. This is going to be, hopefully we'll get a few. Yeah, I haven't really been watching the market for most of the morning because of the feed issue. So yeah, not quite sure what kind of a day it is, but there was a few nice, it does look like there was a few nice trades. Let's get the auto scroll off just for a second there. We had a little bit of hidden divergence there, bearish divergence, that was there. We had kind of a retest here, though it was a bit far from the moving average, but it was still on the middle BB. Had some bullish, not really bullish divergence there. Not quite divergence. There was its divergence, bearish divergence sell. This was a bullish buy. Bullish divergence. We could have had a buy there. Same here, although this one would have nailed you. Yeah. Not a big fan of the JPY pairs, but this is what we have to work for now. So we're just going to be patient and see if we can get 1 or 2 trades. Well, we're 15 minutes in. I think that's a good start. Remember, guys, if you have any questions on anything that I explained during any of these videos, just drop a comment. I actually do read them, and if the answer is such that I cannot just reply on in the comments, I will cover the question in a next video. Also, remember, we're doing live streams every week now on my other channel, and you know, it's really awesome. You guys can pop in, ask questions as we go along. A while ago, I teamed up with Pocket Option and did a few streams on their YouTube channel, and it went really well. So I'm doing this on a separate channel, and I'm going to keep the format of the Pocket Option videos as well. So every week we're going to be discussing a topic. I'm going to do 1 or 2 streams a week, and we're going to be discussing specific topics for the day, and try to help everybody get an understanding of different indicators, different strategies, different ways of money management, stuff like that. Like this Martingale I explained to you guys just now, that we're going to be using, stuff like that we're going to be discussing. And the nice thing is, because I have been getting requests for one-on-one sessions to help people, to like a Zoom session for a couple of hours and do stuff like that. I'm not fond of doing that because for that period I actually cannot trade, and with the result being that's the only thing I actually charge people money for, is one-on-one sessions. But if you guys just join into the YouTube streams, you can ask your questions and I can answer them, explain live on the chart. So that's also one of the reasons I've decided to do the streaming thing, because it'll help people out, but I can still actually do my trading, a little bit of trading at least in between. So yeah, if you guys want to join, that would actually be awesome. And yeah, I hope I see a bunch of you guys there. I'll be doing one on Friday on Fibonacci lines, showing you guys how to properly draw Fibonacci and how we can use it to determine additional entries to the systems, additional entry signals using the current trading strategies that we have been using. So we're not going to do new strategies. We're just going to use Fibonacci, have a look at how to draw it properly, and then we're going to look at how to find additional entries in our strategies using that. So yeah, I think it's going to be nice, and it's going to be fun. And yeah, hope to see all of you there. Kind of tempted to take a buy, yeah, although we don't really have a reason. We're making new lows though, so what I'll look for is a correction, and then we'll see if we can get an RSI sell. Maybe if we get the RSI to come up and hit the middle line here, this will be a good area. We've got the ADX coming up. ADX is climbing a bit, telling me there's some strength coming into the move, which is good. We do want bearish strength now, because at the moment we're looking for sell trades to go with the current existing trend. Let's see if we're going to get that. I need to keep an eye on that, but I do want to draw in a line here. Oh. RSI isn't hitting yet. This is a very strong support area though. We are through the middle Bollinger. Taking a sell now might be a bit too risky. We might even get some divergence. So I'm going to wait and see if it hits here. If the RSI rejects now, I think it might be worth taking a trade, but we do need a decent rejection. Let's go with it. Okay, so we're in our first trade. And like I said, we're going to be using Martingale. So if this trade turns out to be a losing trade, we're going to, our next trade will be 625. The next trade size, so we'll multiply it by 625. But first we're going to wait and see how this does. Don't think it's going to be a problem though. It does look like we're heading down. I would suspect we're going to see a new low, even if it's just a little bit, because it does look like it wants to form some divergence, bullish divergence, or this might have just been a sloppy retest of the support area. But there we go. Okay, so this is running beautifully. We definitely won't have any reason to change our trade size here. Got 10 seconds left, and that's a good start. There we go. First trade is good, so no reason to Martingale. If this trade lost though, I would most certainly not have taken another sell trade immediately, or a buy trade even, because I didn't have any entries on my strategies at all. There are no entries at the moment, so there are no trades for us. If this trade did lose, I would be sitting waiting now to see if I do get waiting for the next entry I get from one of my strategies, and that trade would have been a Martingale trade. Well, that one would have been for 6.25. We got the ADX dropping a bit here, so we might see a little correction. Might go for a retest of this again. It's now, see, that's a very decent level as well, but we're not seeing it. It's also okay. We just wait. Euro is also not up yet. Okay, ADX is slowing down. This is showing me that the strength of the move is weakening. So it does look like it's coming down a bit. Might just start climbing again. It looks like it will, because we're just seeing red, small pushbacks, but mostly red. So we'll wait for it. But I do know that I can start expecting some corrections soon-ish. And remember, we're not predicting the market movement. All I'm trying to do is identify areas where I could get potential trade setups. That way I am prepared for when my strategy actually gives me a signal. It's impossible to predict the market. I get it wrong so often. When I try to actually predict movement, if I jump the gun on one of my strategies, if it looks like it's going to fire and I actually get in before it gives me an entry, I very often get burned because I didn't wait. And if I just waited, I would have seen that it wasn't a valid trade and I shouldn't have gotten in. So yeah, predicting the market is, in my opinion, impossible. I've had many people argue with me and just, it's simple question. Tell me the closing price of the 5-minute candle, something like that. Nobody's ever been able to do that. So we're just following. So I'm not trying to predict what's going to happen at all, because like I said, I'm quite often wrong with that. But sticking to my strategies is different. I know I can take my trades. I know my strategies are tested. They're profitable over time. So I don't have, I trust them. I just take the entries that my strats give me. And that's the way you should be trading. Most difficult part is the most work of trading. So where the most work comes in is finding a good strategy and then testing that strategy. That's where you're going to spend a lot of time. But once you have that strategy, you can stop worrying, doubting trades and stuff like that. Once you've established a decent strategy and it's profitable, it gives you a good win rate, then we just wait for the candles. Maybe we should take a buy here. This does look like this was bullish divergence, but it's very tight though. But I do suspect it's going to push up. I should have gotten in here though. Somewhere, it's a bit late now. This would have been a good trade actually. Saw this a little late. We might get a rejection. Excuse me. I slept well. Why am I yawning this much? We might get a rejection of the RSI now. We do kind of have bearish divergence, but it can't go up anymore. If price goes up more, it's going to void. That's a sell. So, hello. got a gem, a blue gem. One of the nice things from pocket option, you get these, you get a marketplace, and so if there's certain trading conditions met, and you know, certain trade volumes and stuff like that, there's all these things that's happening where you get like gem rewards, and you can exchange those gem rewards for a bunch of different stuff. Like you can exchange them for cash back to your account. You can exchange them. Oh, there's so many things you can actually do with those. Oh, the payout dropped to 73. I missed that. I did not see that. I think we're going to switch after this trade. We're going to switch to the Australian dollar versus the yen. Cable is low. It's only 81. Let's just sit on this. It probably looks like it might burn me. Now we're going to be good. Good trade, but low payout. Let's switch to the Australian dollar versus the yen. I'm not going to be trading today, it seems. I'm just making this video today because I can't trade without a chart feed, and Euro USD is my thing. I feel it's hard to explain, but I feel it feels wrong if I don't trade Euro USD. I've been trading it for so long. So yeah, with these payouts fluctuating like this, something's wrong somewhere, and I think the best thing is going to be for me to just, you know, accept it, take the day off. I'm not going to get stressed about it. I am going to get stressed about it if I'm actually sitting here in front of the charts and trying to trade, and the payouts are changing and I'm missing the payout changes, you know, and stuff like that. So that's going to frustrate me. So I think this video is going to be a short-ish one. I'm going to do one more trade. We'll see. If it loses, we'll do the Martingale and finish it. And that's going to be that. Because I'm a little bit frustrated with the fact that I can't really trade today, and it's Monday. And this is what I do for a living, so it's frustrating if you technically get paid by the hour and you can't work. So that's basically what's happening here. If I'm not trading, I'm not getting money. So yeah, it's frustrating. Let's see what happens. Are we changing direction, or is this just a correction? If you guys are with pocket option and you're watching this, be patient with the charts. If you're going to be trading, keep an eye on the payouts. So something's wrong somewhere. Like I said, this is the first time I've seen this. But it does happen. Things go wrong, you know, and it's not necessarily with the broker. Brokers subscribe to. There's a handful of people in the world, big companies, that provide chart data. And they get them from different exchanges. So what would happen typically is a broker like Pocket Option or whatever broker will approach one of these guys that sells data feeds, and they will say, okay, fine, look, we want to buy some chart data from you guys, we want to buy the feed, and that gets incorporated into their personal platform, and that's the prices we see, right? So so it doesn't necessarily mean there's a problem with the broker. I've seen in the past where a bunch of brokers had problems, so there was an issue with the actual company supplying the chart data, you know, stuff like that. So there's a lot of things that can go wrong sometimes. Well, there's a lot of things that can go wrong at any point, but most of the time the guys actually do a very decent job at keeping everything running. But you know, stuff goes wrong, and there's no use getting excited about it. We just, if you like me and you get super frustrated, just stop trading, and you know, I say it so often, stop trading, go do something else. And that's exactly what I'm going to do when I'm done with this video. I'm going to go do something else for the day. I'm not going to be trading because it really does frustrate me. Another thing I'm cautious of is usually when there's a chart feed issue, a data feed issue, you tend to have lag will come and go, stuff like that. And so I'm not in the mood for any of those today. You know, for any issues like that. This is a second retest now of the moving average. RSI is not really breaking through. So in my head, this is supposed to be a call, although I'm not taking a trade because none of my actual entries, none of my strategies is actually giving me an entry signal. I'm just saying, you know, in my head, this should be a buy. On the one hand, I hope it tanks now, just to show you guys that how long we can be trying to predict what the market is going to do. And this is actually a brilliant example. If I was trading now without a strategy and just, oh, this looks like it's going to go up and take a buy, I would have been in trouble. This buy trade will be in serious trouble if you know, got in anywhere here. And this is so often what happens. I see this so often. People, you know, I think this is what's going to happen. And people take trades and they can't exactly tell you why they. If you can't explain to somebody exactly why you've taken a trade, you shouldn't be taking the trade. It's that simple. If you cannot explain why you took that trade, exactly why, like precisely, RSI was this value, or this thing happened, or this thing happened. If you cannot explain precisely why you took a trade, you shouldn't be taking the trades. And this is the reason I'm doing these videos. This is a big part of the reason, because people don't know how to trade. They don't know how it is to sit in front of the charts and just watch the charts and see, you know, keep an eye on things. How often should I trade? I've been asked that question so many times. Well, as often as you get entry signals. Yeah, but how often is that? There's no answer. No answer to that. There's no answer. How much money can I make a day? Wrong question. There's no answer to that question, but it's also the wrong question. It shouldn't be it's irrelevant how much money you can make. Better question is, how many trades can I win a day out of the ones that I do? There's a good question. How do I get my win rate up? Because if your win rate's good, if your trading is fine, if you get the trading right, the money will follow automatically. Automatically. People focus on the wrong things. Get a strategy that works, that's decent. And I mean, you don't even have to use any of the strategies that I use. That's people are different. I've seen people. The only strategies I can really explain to people in a lot of detail is the ones I use, right? Because I know them inside out. So, and I've done this many times. I've tried to explain divergence to a lot of people many times. And I would say about half of the people actually understands it, and the other half just seems like it just never makes sense to them. But then you show the people that don't understand divergence, you show them the RSI strat, for example, and they go like, that makes sense. So you know, there's different indicators that people understand or don't understand, and you know, we're built differently. Some things make sense to us while other things it does not. Find something that makes sense to you, but you have to put in the work. You have to test it. Get a good strat, test it, tweak it if need be, until it gives you consistent, decent returns, right? 60-70% win rate is fine. You can work with that, and then you stick to it. And on slow days, you leave the strat alone. You don't change your strategy. You don't start tweaking it again. A lot of people do that. They start messing with their strategies because they're not getting trades today. It's going to happen. It happens to me. It happens with That's the reason I have three strategies. Three different strategies that I use are based on different kinds of indicators. Because some days this one will be slow, but I can still trade because the other ones are giving me entries. I don't mess around with them. I don't change the rules. Because I know the way they are, they work. They work the way they are. No need to mess around with them. But I understand that some days are going to be slow. Some days, I've had days where I'm getting trades every 5 minutes and you're just busy and it's like you're on top of the world because everything's working. You're having so much fun. And other days, I'll wait an hour before I get an entry. We've seen that happen in the past 2 weeks, or past 3 weeks now. We've seen that happen. Okay, so we had days where we had a lot of entries and we had days where we simply didn't have entries or maybe just had one or two. It happens. But not once did we change the strategy to fit the current market movement. We never did that, and we always stick to the strategy. We don't take trades outside of the trading parameters or out of our entry parameters, ever. Let's see. Maybe we're going to get a trade here. This is going on. We're on 36 minutes for this video. I am really itching to cut it short. But like I said, we're gonna sit and wait, see if we get another trade. I'll give it another 10 minutes or so. We might have a push up here to the moving average with the RSI hitting. If we get a decent green candle now, the RSI will definitely tap the middle line. Let's see what happens. We also currently have bearish divergence, hidden bearish divergence. I'm gonna take a sell here. Let's see what happens. Okay, this wasn't a just a nilly-willy trade. We didn't break the previous high, but we had our oscillator made a very clear higher high here than the previous one. So that's hidden bearish divergence. We had the RSI basically tap and reject, and it did it again. And this was, remember we spoke about the Bollinger Squeeze as well. So the Bollinger Squeeze will actually give me an entry here. So meaning that we had a bit of a squeeze here where the Bollinger lines were flat, and it's going to break in one direction. So given the fact that I did have some hidden divergence there and we got the rejection just below the moving average, that's within my trading parameters. Okay, this is going to be a good trade. Unfortunately, we didn't get a losing trade today, which on the one hand kind of sucks because I actually wanted to go over the way of doing Martingale trades. But so we did 3 trades now in this 40 minutes. If my first trade lost, my second trade would have been where my second trade was. Okay, so it wouldn't have been sooner or later or what. And if you really do want to use Martingale, trade your strategy. Wait for entries. Martingale the next entry. Just don't double down on losing trades. It's really not a good thing to do. So yeah. I hope those of you that's using Martingale if you haven't been doing it this way, give it a shot, try it out. You should be seeing better results than you have been getting. If you've been doubling down on losing trades, stuff like that, it should make a difference. Again, personally, I do not use Martingale. I'll use it on maybe sometimes in tournaments and stuff like that, but that's a whole different ball game. There's no risk. There's no risk to my capital when I'm trading tournaments. But on my real account, I really don't like Martingale. I keep my trade sizes constant. My strategies, I feel, is good enough for me to get consistent returns, even if I'm not changing my trade size. But yeah, tomorrow I'll show you guys another way to there's a sweet spot between not changing your trade sizes and using Martingale. There is actually something in between that I actually do use from time to time, but it's not one or the other. And we'll have a look at that tomorrow. It's a little bit different kind of management, money management. In my opinion, it's the best one. It's the best way of money management there is. It's different from what it's totally different. It's different from what we've been doing, anything we've done so far, but I'll explain that tomorrow. Today is not a good day for the charts, it seems. Definitely have to wait until these guys get this issue fixed. But yeah, I hope you got some information today, usable, and then basically we're done, I think. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Until then, trade smart, trade safe, and have a great day. Cheers.